Hello coders, good afternoon. It's 14:30, it's 34. I'm a bit late, sorry, I do apologise. It's Sunday afternoon and welcome one and all to the How to Code Well Sunday stream. It's Easter, everybody. How did we get here so quick? It was Christmas just over there. How did we get here so fast? Looking at the looking at the stream dashboard, I can't actually see that I'm online. Oh, there we go. Things are running a bit slow. I've got a feeling that because everybody is online these days, I've got a light on that there, that's annoying, that everything's slowing down. Bear with me a minute, I've got to turn that light off, otherwise I get too much of a shiny head. Bear with me, Mo. There we go. There we go. Oh, hang on. God. I really should have planned this. Ah, that's better. Now I've got a little bit of key lighting going on. Woohoo! Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to, as mentioned in my tweet and Discord thing, we're going to add oAuth2. There's an oAuth2 client that I've discovered, and we're going to add that to the How to Code Well, to the new site that we're building. I want to see if I can try and get the login to work. That would be amazing if I could do that. But it is a bit of a time box job today, because I'm having a barbecue later on. So about 4:30-ish, 4:30, will be, so wherever we get at that point, you know. Right, so first of all, I guess we should go into the code, right? There we go. This is the npm package that I want to use. Let me turn up the music, it's a bit quiet, isn't it? Right, so this is the npm package, the client oAuth 2.0, and as you can see, weekly downloads 22,000. So it's being used a lot. I've never used it before, ever. It was last published 9 months ago, so that's a bit worrying, but you know, it's obviously being used quite well. Yeah, so if you've watched the streams before, we've got the How to Code Well site, the new one, is built in a series of microservices, and it's running off of AWS, and we're using Ansible and Terraform to spin up a testing environment, which reminds me I need to do that first before we do all of this. There's an authentication, an auth service, so that's written in PHP in Symfony, and we'll be trying to access that through this client. There's a couple of things that we need to do first of all. First of all, I need to spin up the testing box on AWS using those Terraform and Ansible scripts. And then what I'm going to do is make a postman call to the infrastructure, the services. Hopefully we can get something back, which means that, you know, that works. And then we'll crack on with the JavaScript, and we'll see if we can get this running. So, like, I've never done this before. I've done this before, but I've never done this with Gatsby, nor have I used this library before. So, things will probably break, as they always do in this stream. But we'll work through it together, and we'll fix it. I just want to say a massive thank you to Harris Heller for providing a load of royalty-free stream music, stream beats. Thank you very much, Harris Heller. This is incredible. Thank you very much. So that's what we're using today, new tunes. And I'm not too sure what the volume is like for you guys, so if you think it's too quiet or too loud, then please let me know and I'll adjust it accordingly. Okay, so I guess the first thing we need to do is we need to go over to here. You can see that all the infrastructure on AWS is destroyed. So we need to bring that back up again. So we're going to do apply. Now I'm still running the same IP as I did last week. I just haven't got around to changing it, which is fine. It doesn't mean that we have to play around with the DNS anymore, which is good. So yeah, that's going to go. I explained how all of this worked in the last stream. What I'm doing slowly is I'm putting all of the previous archives onto the YouTube channel, which is the How to Code Well live channel. Now, it doesn't have a proper name yet because there's only 30 subscribers. So if you want to see the previous live streams, then they're there. Now I'm giving the Patreons first dibs to this, as well as, and we'll talk about this in more depth as the stream goes on. I've produced about 3 months worth of content for YouTube that is sitting and waiting for Patreons to digest and watch. So it's all PHP tutorials at the moment, and of course that's available on the Patreon. It's only $2 to get it. I'll show you that. So it's this link here. So there's 2 membership levels. One is $2 and one is $10. So the $2 one is early access. This used to be the $10 one, but what I've done is I've dropped it down. So you get the How to Code Well newsletter and early access to some of the content. And the $10 one is that you get the How to Code Well welcome pack. So that includes stickers, discounts and other bits and pieces, and access, of course, to the Pro User Discord channel and the Town Hall that we do. So that's that. And I guess what I could do is if I could show you, yeah, here we are. So I've got 9. I've got 3 more to upload. That they are done. So this is how to flip PHP array values, how to count PHP array values, how to shuffle a PHP array, how to create PHP array ranges, how to check if a PHP variable is an array. And I think in that one I also did an example of ternary operators too. How to get the keys of a PHP array, how to get the last key, and there's one how to get the first key of a PHP array, how to reverse a PHP array, and also the previous posts such as the code schools that I do. I'll talk about that as well in more detail. Can I get to scroll down here? Can I see the others? There's loads. There's like loads of content here. So this is a previous stream. That's a previous stream. Yeah, so there's a bunch of previous streams that aren't available on the How to Code Well channel yet because I haven't published them. They're all scheduled to go out over the week, but there's like 14 of them that I'm doing. I'm obviously not going to put 14 on live on so that's one that has that was the March challenge. Yeah, so if you want to get access to these and also get access to the PHP tutorials, and do consider becoming a Patreon, that would be very, very awesome. Much appreciated. And what I'm going to do with these PHP tutorials is release 1 a week. So what I'm going to do is keep topping up the Patreons up with more content, and then release 1 every Monday on the YouTube channel. Now, the YouTube channel for these will go to the other channel, which is youtube.com/how to code well. I should have typed that out beforehand. This is the other channel. And I'll pause that for a minute. So this is the main channel. We've recently just got over 11,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I think it's 11,107, something like that, which is brilliant. Got loads of content on here for Python and Linux and PHP and other Symfony and HTML and all that jazz. So this is, I'll put this in the chat as well. So these are where the tutorials go, and then the other link is where the live streams go. Anyway, let's get on to the code. Hopefully now that is all passed. Yes. So this we now have our AWS infrastructure spun up. So we have 13 resources added. What I need to do, of course, is I need to actually configure it using Ansible. So that's what we'll do. So I should have this on my reverse search Ansible playbook. There we go. And we want to spin up the gateway. We need to spin up setup, obviously setup. We want to spin up the portal. We want to spin up gateway, and we also want to spin up the auth service. All right, so off it goes. It's now going to install all of those bits on the EC2 instance. Oops, what have I got going on here? Could not read from remote repository. Please make sure you have. Ooh. Bear with me a minute. That's not good. This is the infrastructure here, and did I call? I'm wondering if I've called setup differently. Startup. Not setup, it's startup. I was silly me. It's startup, not setup. Start up. Okay, so it should start up, install all the bits. This is what was failing because it didn't have the SSH credentials that were passed through. And yeah, hopefully that will all go through. So yeah, I've got like 3 months worth of content, 12 weeks for these tutorials on Monday. And then what I'm going to do, like I've been really hard at work recording over the last few days because fortunately the freelance stuff has kind of fizzled out a bit. So I've been using my time as productively as possible to try and get as much content done in a very as professionally as I can do. Which means that when I do get the freelance work in, you know, there'll be content to keep going through. And I have a lot of plans for a lot more content coming up. So I was doing something like, you know, 3 videos a day. And I've now got myself into a nice little routine where I will edit 3 and I will record 3, which means that the next day I edit the 3 that I previously recorded, and then I edit the other 3, right? So I'm continually making content for me to edit the next day, right? So that's the chain, if you like. And it's got into a good rhythm. I think that if I was to do more than 3 a day, then probably the quality would drop. And I'm not, you know, as much as I would like to try and create as much content as I want, I'm very conscious at the quality. I need to keep the quality up. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, I've enjoyed getting back to it because, of course, I had that 2-week period off. You know, due to unfortunate circumstances. So I'm glad that I'm getting back into it. And of course, last week we had Matt Brunt on the podcast, and we were talking about remote working and the differences in remote working now due to lockdown. I will put that in the show notes too, in the chat. So it would be. I really should create, like, you know, a list of links that I want to talk about before the stream, rather than during, right? I tell you what, actually, there is a command here that it's exclamation mark and then podcast. There we go. Rather than me trying to type. There we go. howtokowell.fm. Okay, so we're spinning through this. There's a lot of kit to throw up. I mean, this is like, it's doing the gateway, it's doing the portal, and it's doing the auth service. So there's 3 services there that are already which we're spinning up. I guess if you class the gateway as a service, I don't know. But we got the portal. So the portal is going to be downloading the latest and greatest code from the S3 bucket, and then putting that into a Docker a Docker container, and then what happens? So the auth service is, it's a Symfony API, so it needs to install Composer, it needs to install the Docker image, of course, and then it needs to install all the Symfony packages. So this is actually quite a lot of work that I've asked it to do straight off the bat. Now it's populating the database. So as mentioned in the previous stream, as demonstrated, what I've got going on here is a script that populates the database, and also it puts in the client ID and client secret, generates a new one, puts that into the database, because of course I'm using FOSS oAuth server and FOSS user, and this FOSS REST. I think I'm using some other FOSS as well. So yeah, so it's doing a bunch of stuff. And once it's all done and ready, I'll jump onto the box and have a little poke around. Obviously, you need to go up and make sure. Here we go. It's all done. So we put in 33. Okay, 30 is changed, and there we go. So that's cool. It's on the off. It's working. So I guess what I should do is just SSH to this EC2 instance that we've just spun up. So let's do. I think it's SSH revert I. There we go. All right, so I need to get rid of my old key. So we need to do SSH key gen. There we go. Goodbye. And then in you go. Brilliant. I have to do this each time because, of course, the EC2 instances are I delete them. I remove them from existence. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's do a docker ps-a and see what we've got going on. So we've got the portal, the auth service, the auth MySQL database, and the gateway. So it's a bit crunched here. I do apologize, but it is a bit crunched. These are the container names that are all sort of wrapped around. So portal 1, auth service, auth API 1, and a gateway 1. What I could do, I guess, is I could do a docker logs -f of the gateway. So this is now tailing those logs. And if I jumped over to, where are we, Postman? Here, let's see if I can do this. Now, this is the error response that I'm looking for, and we should see something in the logs. So off it goes. Yes, that's correct. And in here we've got the logs. That should be a 400. Marvelous. So yeah, that's awesome. So literally in a couple of commands, we've now got this kit up and running. So let's see if we can first of all get to the client ID and client secret, as I mentioned earlier. To do that, unfortunately, I haven't really worked this through yet, but to do that, what I need to do is I need to go into the database. So let's do that now. Let's do it's auth service, isn't it? CD into apps, and then auth service ls docker. We'll do it as compose, I guess. Exec, and then it is it's the normal Docker file. That's fine. I'm just trying to remember. Is it auth_db? I can't remember the service name, db, and then mysql -u root -p. Let's see if this works. Yes. Okay, so that's... Yes, here we go. Excellent stuff. So now we're in the MySQL database for the auth service that we've just created. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just, I can't remember what the database is called. I think it's just oAuth2, but what I could do is show databases. I think this is okay. oAuth2. So let's use oAuth2, and then we should have, if I did show tables, we should have a clients table here, which we do, and we should have one entry in here. Select all from client. Client. We should have one client in here with a grant type of password, which we do. And what I'm looking for is the random ID and the secret. Now this gets generated all the time, so I'm not fussed of showing you this here. I mean, we're only playing with the test stuff at the moment, so the staging. So that's fine. So let's copy that. What I need these for, of course, is I need to go into Postman and actually update the environment variables, which is this one here. So that is the key. So it needs to be 1 underscore and then, so 1 underscore and then that. Whoops. And then, did I just copy 1? And then that, yeah. I'm also going to put it into this column as well. I don't really know if you need to, but whatever. And then here we're going to deal with the secret as well. So I'm going to copy that one too. Paste it in there, and we're going to paste this one in here as well. Let's hit update. And yes, okay, good. So we're running off of staging, and if I hit send, there we go. We have our token, because of course in the body we should have supplied the password. Wonderful, the username and password. Excellent stuff. Okay, so if I can replicate this in JavaScript, then we're on for a win. All right, this is good stuff. Of course, now I've pushed up the portal as well, which means that if I was to refresh this page, this should be there. Yes. So this is the staging site, right? This is what we've just pushed up. This is the portal, and what we need to do is fix this. Fix this, and when they log in with the username and password, what I want is for the access token to come back, and then we can store that in JavaScript or local storage or something. I haven't quite worked that through yet. So then the next subsequent requests we can use with that. So at the moment, it's not working, right? At the moment, it's not working. So this is obviously staging, so that's fine. But what I do need to do now is I need to come out of this one. So if we do exit, and then exit that connection, we're in the local host here for portal, and what I'm going to do is probably do a Gatsby develop just to spin it up. Gatsby develop. Now this is probably going to tell me that it's out of date, but what have you? I could technically I could now change these APIs to point to staging. Technically, that would be a good experiment, wouldn't it? But I'm just focusing at the moment on login. Let's not get too distracted, because those services I could push up. Critical dependency. The request of a dependency is an expression. What? What does that mean? I've never seen that one before. That's new on me. Warn critical dependency. I'm guessing there should be something there. The request of a dependency is an expression. That's a statement. So I'm not sure what that is. Hey, Front End Nexus. Thank you for joining. Can I ask you, please, Front End Nexus, can you hear the music? Because I've just realized that because I'm running it off of Spotify, I don't know if I've actually wired it up to actually go through the mixer text. I can hear it faintly. Okay. Is it too quiet? Would you like it up a little bit louder? I can turn the volume up if you want. Just say. So, maybe a notch. Maybe a wee notch, eh? Oh, there we go. There it is. Actually, thinking about it, that's just controlled the master volume. Let's bring that down. And then let's punch this up. There we go. Let me know if it's too quiet. Higher. Okay, we'll do. Unfortunately, now the music has gone to a quiet. Let's put... let's see if I can find something that is a bit... There we go. If it's too loud, please let me know. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Actually, this is too loud for me. Let me knock it down, because that's... Yeah, it is. It's only instruments. Alright, let's copy that. Go into the browser. Okay, so this is the dev version. And we'll log out. There's a bug. There was a bug there. So this is what we want to play with, right? This thing here. And we're going to use this library somehow. Do I do window capture or screen capture? So I dedicate a portion of my screen to it, so it's not window capture, it's full screen capture, but only a portion of the screen. So for example, right, if I drag this up, you can see my notes. If I drag this to the left, you can see the Twitch, and if I drag this over here, that's the OBS Stream Deck. The OBS. It's not Stream Deck. It's OBS. Yeah. King Melon Live has asked, when are you coding school? When are you doing coding schools? Why is the music so loud? Let me turn that music down then. There we go. So, when am I doing the next coding school? That will be hopefully next Thursday evening at 9. So that should be good. I'm debating whether or not to deal with CSS stroke. Yes, I am. Front-end Nexus, I am. I'm debating whether to do CSS classes versus IDs, because you know that we had that discussion in I think it was in the coding help channel on the Discord server. I wouldn't mind tackling that, or whether I do validation with HTML inputs. I'm not too sure. I might put it out as a vote, you know, maybe. So yeah, and yeah, we've got new music, which is the Harris Heller's. I'll show you again. Harris Heller's Stream Beats. It's royalty free. There's 6 hours worth of tunes here. So thank you very much, Harris, for doing that. I really appreciate it. Let me know though if it is too quiet or too loud, and I will make the adjustments accordingly. Yeah, I follow his stuff too. He's you know, he's been putting out some really good content, and he puts them out at the times where I actually have the question, which is great. I think it would be a good idea to go over the two. Yes. The question is though, King Melon, it's It's when. Because I could look at CSS classes versus IDs and the validation, but I want to do it in 2 separate streams. So I think I should probably continue with the validation, but I think I might put it out to the community and ask, what do you guys think? So we're going to grab this, and we're going to, all of the coding schools, by the way, are going to be on the How to Code Well live channel, which is there. Apologies for spamming the chat with links, but they're there, and of course they'll be available straight away for the Patreons as well. So they'll be like a week or so out when they go onto the live channel. Right, so what do I need to do? I've built it. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to come out of this, if I can. Control C, come on, there we go. And then we're going to do install client oAuth. We're in the develop branch. That's fine. Form validation would only make sense if you go over how to make forms. That was what we were doing in the previous one. That was what we did in the previous one. Let me see. It was this one. Let's bring that up a bit so you can see it. Coding School, the second one was learning forms. I'll grab that, copy a link address and paste that into here. There you go. Yeah, so I'm kind of at the fork of the road now. It's like, do I style the form or do I validate the form? I'm going to do both. It's a question of when. Of course, if I style the form, that might open up a rabbit hole of, what else can you do in CSS? I don't know. Oh, I got rid of that. Never mind. Right. Okay. Woohoo! What? So I've just installed this library. A bunch of errors. I think that's to do with Python. Ignore all that. But this here added 17 packages from 14 contributors. Audited all of that. I'm not even going to attempt to put that number down. Found 3,323 vulnerabilities. Seriously? I'm going to fix them. Wow, that's huge. I mean, there's quite a lot of low ones, but there's 9 high ones. It would be nice to have like a breakdown of what these are. I wonder how many devs just go, oh, okay, it's fine. I'll put my hand up and say, I do, sometimes. Hey, Tyrannid, thank you for joining. Thank you very much. I hope everybody's having an awesome Easter. I hope everybody's having a good Easter. Unfortunately, this is where I wish on the mixing desk here I've got this this sound thing that goes, oh. Unfortunately, we don't have any Easter eggs. I have not eaten a single piece of chocolate today because there are no Easter eggs available where I am. So we get the shop, because due to lockdown and everything, we've been trying to get shopping delivered rather than we go out, because that's just sensible, right? But of course we had Easter eggs on the delivery, but they've all gone out of stock. So there's a couple of things which I'm really craving for and missing. One is nuts, and the other one is chocolate. So we do have some what do they call them? Mini eggs. We have some 2 packs of mini eggs that we are rationing. Wow, that came up with a lot of changes, didn't it? Woohoo! Look at all of that. Okay, so 21 vulnerabilities required manual review and could not be updated. Added 308. Okay, so this adds things as well as takes them away. Removed 33 packages, updated 159, moved 97 packages to 100. Okay, fixed 3,302 of 3,323. Let me run the audit again. Can I run the audit? NPM audit? No. Let me see if I can get the health, because I want to know if any of those high ones. I can't remember what the command is. It's certainly not that. NPM help, NPM access, add user audit. Yeah. And I thought it was that one. Maybe I need to have some other things to this as well. So NPM audit. Errors were found in your package.json file. Run npm install to fix them. Okay, npm install. Oh, you've got an Avengers Easter egg. And a Batman. That's not so bad now. 29 packages from 38. Run npm or npm audit for details. Let's do that. Npm audit for details. You know what I'm doing, don't you? You know what I'm doing. I am trying to avoid actually doing. I'm procrastinating, trying to avoid actually doing this oAuth stuff because I know it's. I should just get on and do it. So there's a bunch of moderate stuff here, which I should probably go through. But let's first of all make sure the website's still running, right? That's probably a good idea. So if we did Gatsby develop on there. So yes, Tyranid, as always, the voice of reason. First make it work and then make it look pretty. So if we're talking about validating the form, and King Melon Live as mentioned, I think I would go with validating the form before introducing the styling language. There we go. It's decided we're going to do validation. I'm not even going to put it out as a tweet or whatever. That's what we're going to do. It makes sense, right? It just makes sense. So next Thursday on Code School will be validation. Cool. I'm going to write that down. Bear with me or more. Code School. Good. I've now written that down. Okay, so that seems to have all gone through. So let's grab that. And then, oops. I guess I could just refresh this page. Yay, it's still working. Good stuff. Okay, right. Enough shenanigans. Let's get on to actually implementing this thing. So this is the thing that we're playing with. It is a client oAuth2 package. Oh, that's very kind of you to ask, Mambo Empire. Thank you very much. He's doing fine. He's doing really, really well. Yeah, he's doing really, really well. So we did take him up we did start puppy classes, and we did 2 puppy classes before lockdown. But the instructor has been super helpful and has provided a lot of video tutorials for us to go through. So I've been teaching him, because we haven't taken him out for a walk. Just again, it's one of those decisions. We've got a nice garden, right? So we're just using that. The garden wraps around the house, which is really nice, which allows us to, throw the ball quite a bit. And I've been teaching him how to stay and leave things alone, so self-control. And he's doing really well. We have taken him sort of along the street, that kind of thing, but we haven't like gone anywhere near like other people. Although last night, which was nice, we had a nice sort of social distancing drink with the neighbours, so we were quite far apart from each other. And Murphy did come out and join. We actually we tied him out during the day with the ball, and we had him on a dog bed, which was nice. And it was nice for him to get on with the other dogs too, which was good. I certainly needed that. I needed to know that there was other people in the world. Cabin fever. So yeah, no, Murphy's doing fine. He's doing all right. He's good. He's keeping us very entertained. So the client oAuth2, you require it like so, and then you instantiate that with the client ID and client secret. Now these are going to be what I've set up in Postman. Then you have a URI to the token. So this would be my oAuth token jibbery thingy, and then you have an authorization URL. You have a redirector URL. However, I think if I scroll, I was looking on this on my phone earlier, and I think some of these are optional. So yes, this one here. So only required for token and code. So some of these aren't required all the time. And then there was something down here for password, resource owner password. So this is what we will be using because we're asking for a password. So this is owner.getToken, and you supply the username and the password, which then should come back with a promise. Which is a promise, which then should come back with the access token and the token type. Fingers crossed we can get that. But it deals with all sorts of... The thing that I really like about this is it deals with all the other types of grant types as well. So, for instance, it deals with the authorization code. It deals with... I think it deals with... So that's the owner. Yes, client grants. These are grants, aren't they? The JWT2. So yeah, all right. So that's what I'm going to do. And obviously, this website, I would like it to be connected to other things. So I want you to perhaps in the future log in with GitHub, or log in with Facebook, or log in with Twitter. So I'm hoping that this client can handle both logging into my own auth service as well as logging into others, or using others for that mechanism. Okie dokie. So let's go over to the code here. Let's take a look at the portal website. This is the code for that. So this is all in Gatsby. Gatsby. I'm just going to commit those. So adding client oAuth2 and fixing errors found in audit. Can't spell. All right. King Melon Live has asked, do I have an idea how you would have a button that shares a post to Facebook, Twitter, etc. under the user's login? Yes. Yes, I've done things like that before. Essentially what happens is you would use the Facebook API. So you would log in through the Facebook API, so you would authenticate. And then you would... there's a Facebook API call that you can call upon, which will provide the post content, and if you want to supply an image or what have you, and then you could do it like that. At least that's what I've done before, but they may have changed the Facebook API since I've done that. I did that a couple of years back. So, and they probably have changed it, to be honest. But I was able to push things out with a with code. I believe you have to have a Facebook developer account because that gives you the client IDs and secrets and stuff like that. Yeah. No worries. I mean, feel free to send me code on the Discord if you need it, or I tell you what I'll do is I'll write this down. I will find the tutorial that I found, and then push it on the resources channel. Yeah. So Facebook. You can tell I've got freelancers fizzling out, can't you? I'm making work for myself. Facebook tutorial for King Melon. Yeah, no problem. Melon. Yeah, definitely they change their stuff every 6 months. Yeah, and you need to have a nuclear physics degree to understand where you need to create the token. Yes. Yeah, I remember like the token was the most difficult part of the whole thing. It's the same with the YouTube API. They changed that quite a lot. Okay, so in SRC, in utils, not in util, yeah, in utils, no, not in utils, in services, there we go. I haven't looked at this for a long time. We've got oAuth.js here, and we've also got, so this is a helper to call upon this API. This is what we're going to replace. So this was fetching from, this was making a post request to the auth service directly, but we don't want to be doing that. We want to be doing the, we want to be using the new stuff, the new toys. Okay, let me just refresh my memory and try and work out what I was doing when I did this. Okay, yeah. So this is JWT stuff, which we're not going to be using. Handle login. So this returns login. What happens with that? So I wonder if I can. Okay, then that's on a fetch, and this is in auth.api. No. I wonder if I should just create like a simple page to do this, as an experiment, as a process. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then what I can do is replace this rather than try and hack all this up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create in pages in I need a call to it. So perhaps when we hit the login button, right? So perhaps when we do that, or I'll tell you what I could do. That would be easier, wouldn't it? So login.js. I could just create another button. That's a good idea. That's checking if it's truthy or falsy. Right. Let me think. Login form. Do we have the button on here? Yes, we've got the button on here. So could we do this one here, which is type submit class name, blah 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 blah, all this stuff. This is all I wonder, could I just hook it in from that button? So that button does this on submit, handle login, set submitting to false. And then to quickly get around all of this stuff is I will mark this all as not required. Well, sorry, like so it's not, so it's, yeah, so this is the validation. So that should be cool. It's just returning that. Right. And then for testing, we'll do console.debug and we'll do login pressed. Right. And we'll tidy that up. We don't need that. Okay. I keep forgetting that we don't need colons, semicolons anymore. Right, let's save that. And in theory, if we go over to here and refresh and go to View, Developer, DevTools, and have a look at the console, which is there. Okay. So if we were to hit this, yes, we got login pressed. Excellent. Okay, so now we can use this as a hook. We can, not a hook, I shouldn't say that. We should use this as the entry point. Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's the truth from a certain point of view. Well, we're using JavaScript, and JavaScript isn't the well, it's dynamic data types, isn't it? It's not strict data types at all, unless you use like TypeScript or what have you. Even if you use that, it's still a bit flaky. There's so using the double exclamation mark is a means of making sure it is truthy. Okay. So console.debug, login pressed. What we need to do up here is copy all of this. I know this is going to look terrible code, like real awful stuff. I just want to get it to work first, and then we'll tidy it all up. So, right, I need to deal with that as more of as an import, I think. Hopefully I can do that. And then this is the... Let's fill it out with all the stuff that we're aware of at the moment. So, did I... Oh, yes, I have come out of that. Damn it. Let's bring up another tab. Because I need to get back into... No, I could just copy it from... I'm looking for my client ID and secret. I can just copy it from Postman, can't I? I don't have to go into MySQL anymore because I've pasted it down here. So I can just use, not the admin tokens, where are we? Client ID. Copy that. Paste it into there. Copy that. Paste it into here. However, yeah. Okay, and then I need this. So it's going to be, that's the access token. And this, of course, is going to be, the URI portion of this is going to be that, I think. 8081, yeah. Now, of course, this isn't HTTPS yet. I have been having issues with getting that configured. I'm sure I will be able to get there in the end, but it was just causing me a problem. Let's change all of that to be... There we go. Right. We don't need these, I don't think, this time. We obviously need to deal with this. Can we do require straight off the bat in Gatsby? I'm not too sure. I would have thought I would have needed to import that, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway, let's just see what errors we get. JavaScript and you decided to maintain social distancing. I'm pub buddy with jQuery, but that's all about it. Yeah. I miss jQuery. It was like a nice, a very large, obviously, comfort blanket around JavaScript. Okay, so let's get back down to here. So this is the second argument to the constructor can be inject a custom request. Yeah. Okay. Request options. So this is also really cool. This is creating a token on the fly, which is brilliant. I like that. You can also so this is to recreate an access token instance and make requests on behalf of the user. You can do this, which is awesome. I like that. Okay, so it's not the grant, it's not the implicit, it's this one here, the resource owner. So let's put that up here. Whoops. I've got an hour left. I wonder if this can work in an hour. So the username for this, I can't remember. What was it? What's my test username on body? Here we go. PFW Pete at howtocodewell.net, which FYI isn't an email address. And then this super stupid password, test1234. And then we're going to do a console. I'm going to do a console debug rather than a log, just because I like debug. And hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, it needed to be indentated. Fine. Fine. All right. Okay. I really don't think this is going to work. Really don't. Yeah, we were talking about that the other night, weren't we? The other day. Bootstrap is dropping jQuery. I think that's a good idea, personally. I think they're going in the right direction. Right, let's see what errors I get, shall we? Let's click on to heal. Let's do a refresh here. Make sure that we have all levels on. Okay. And then all I need to do is just hit that. Login pressed. Okay, so it's doing a post request. 400 bad requests. This token, if we go to the response, we have the client credentials are invalid. Really? Invalid client. Now, I forget, does this mean that the username and password is invalid, or does this mean that the... But that's really cool. I like the way that is just... Unknown client, no client credentials included or in the method. But at least I know that we are actually making a request to it. I tell you what though, what I should do, of course, is I should log this out, right? So we are up on the box here. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. How best to do that? I guess. Sorry. Here's another tab. I need to do an SSH to here, and then we go into apps. And what should I do? Should I do the auth service or the gateway? I technically should do both, to be honest. Let's take a look at the gateway. So we can do docker logs -f gateway _gateway _1. There we go. So what? What is this? Right, that looks like our post request. I don't know what this all is though. Action, login, and key bin sh. CGI main. Is that a bot? Have I already been... Am I being... nrock? Busybox. That looks like... That either looks to me like it's sort of an AWS internal thing. It's doing a wget. That's very suspicious. Anywho, I'm going to put some new lines in here. Let's run this again. Maybe this will happen again, perhaps. Let's whoops, go back to the code here and then hit, let's clear the console down, hit login, and then, so that should be doing the request. There we go, bad request. Let's go over to here. What have we got? Yeah, I reckon that was a bot. I need to get IP tables running on this, I think. Okay, so this is the 400 error from here. That's the referrer. That's what I'm using, Safari. And it was a 400. So I'm hoping now if we were to bring up another one, we should be able to go to... we'll SSH into the box again. Go into apps, go into auth service, ls, do a docker, well, docker, oh, just do docker ps. No, we'll do docker compose exec, because we'll go into the box. And it was auth_API, going in as bash, so that's the bash shell. Excellent. So this is now, I've now SSH'd onto the EC2 instance and now SSH'd into the, into the bash shell within the Docker container. So this is like inception on inception. So tail minus f, because we want to do a follow of var logs, or log, I think it is, because this is Symfony, and devlog. There we go. So I'm gonna make some more room and then hit run on here again, and we should hopefully now see, yes, some logs, which we do. So it's certainly making the right thing, doing the right thing, but I'm wondering here if we can. This is what happens when I'm streaming, unfortunately. I start getting so many terminal let's get rid of that one. Terminal windows running. It gets really tricky. I usually have, like, I run a, obviously second screens and stuff when I'm actually properly working, so it's a bit tight at the moment to do all this. And of course I've bumped up the that looks like it's actually making a select here. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. I think I know what, when I was talking about bumping things up, I meant I've bumped up the font size so it's easier to read on stream. I think my client ID is wrong. I think my client ID requires, yes, they're the same silly thing, aren't they? That's not right. That's not right. This is supposed to be the secret here. Copy that. I obviously just copied the same thing. There we go. Right. Let's see if that works now. Again, what I'm going to do is make a little bit of room for these logs. This is a proper dev trick. When you're tailing logs on a live box, just make some room, just press enter, because then when you scroll up, you see the gaps. A lot of people don't do this. A lot of people will look at the timestamps, which makes sense, right? It certainly makes sense to do that, but I find that there's too much noise sometimes, and I can't wrap my head around it. So let's hit login now. Login pressed. Oh my word, we've got an access token. Woohoo! Oh, that was so easy to do. Oh, kudos. Who is this? Who created this package? Because that's incredible. Let's have a look. Who did this? The collaborators. Thank you very much, all of these collabs. That's brilliant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great stuff. I didn't think that was going to work today. I really, when I started this stream, I thought, nah, this isn't going to happen. But, yeah. We've got an access token. We have an access token. Oh, I'm so pleased. Okay, so let's obviously we need to tidy all of this mess up, don't we? Okay, so what happens is that I think what I need to do, well, obviously we put this back. What I need to do is I want this in config, and this, to be honest, in configuration. And I was thinking of using the configuration for Gatsby's config, you know. However, I'm thinking maybe I need to have my own little config file that I don't commit to source control, because obviously these are going to change and this URL is going to change. So I think I need to put that into a config file and then import that in. I can't use environment variables very well on production. It's JavaScript. It's not going to know the environment variables. So so that's the thing. And then we're just going to get rid of this handle login, I think. And put this somewhere like a service. Right, so there's a lot of things to do here. And what's time? 15. I'm hungry. I'm having a barbecue later on, so I've got the munchies. I've been looking. This is the first barbecue of the year for me. So we are. So I've been starving myself all day. I want some cooked meat. Right. Good stuff. All right. So let's do a things to do list, shall we? Let's see if we can get crack on with this in just under an hour. So number one, we are going to put client ID and secret plus what was the other one? That was the access plus URI in config. All right. Number two, we're going to create a service for not for login, for oAuth. Is there anything else we need to do? Oh yeah, number three, we need to replace handle login with new service, and number four is store access token into, for now, I think we'll just bung it in local storage. And then number 5 is to redirect to account page. All right. I probably won't be able to achieve all this in an hour under, but we'll give it a go. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is put the IDs, secrets, and URI into a config file. The config file is going to be in here, in src. I think src, yes. Or is it? Shall I put it out? Let's see if I can put it outside src, new file. We're going to call this .api underscore config. And I think I'll do that, .config. It's going to be a JSON file. It's going to be actually, first thing I need to do, of course, is to ignore it. That's the first thing I need to do. So we're going to ignore this file here. Excellent. And then we're going to create one. It's going to be a JSON file, and this JSON file is going to have client ID underscore ID. It's going to have, and of course this needs to be in quotes. There we go. Client secret. Oops. And it's also going to have auth underscore URI. Excellent. So where are we? Where did this go? In here, right. So let's copy that over to here. And let's copy this one over to here. Let's copy this one to there. There we go. Cool. Right. So now what I can do, that's number 1 done. So if we go over to here, that's done. Okay. Create a service for oAuth. So src services. We have an auth here. Can I use that? Handle login. Could I use that? Could I do up here a require of this? If we go into, where are we? Here. Oh, I've just removed it. Right. Maybe I should just do it in handle login. Right, so we're passing in the username and password, and then in login form, we then deal with that. That sets up all of this stuff. The login we need to remove because that doesn't exist anymore. Bye bye. I can't spell user. Actually thinking about this, I probably need to do it in the other one, don't I? Yeah. All right. Let me just Control Z a load of this stuff. Thinking about this, I need to. There we go. I need to do it in. So handle login will take the username and password. And it's going to go to login. Here we go, login. This is login from oAuth API auth. So it's this here that I need to adjust. Username and password we pass in. It's doing a fetch, but we don't want to do a fetch at the moment. We want to, or do we? Because what we're doing here. Sorry, I'm going Lost the tabs. What we're doing. So that's the setup. That's the configuration, isn't it? What we're doing is is this. So we could essentially have all of this configured. Yeah. And then we do that, and then that gets runs the promise. Gotcha. Okay. My head is going a million miles an hour at the moment.
Hello, coders.
Hey, Joel. Is that the right way of saying it? Joel? Joel? Thank you very much for following. Do appreciate it. Thank you. Right. Handle login. It then goes to login. Here we go. Right. It's not going to be a fetch. It's going to be, we're running this, aren't we, at this point? There we go. .get token then. All right, so if we could put that into a function and then return it. So what I'm thinking, let's deal with the configuration first. So I'm thinking we put this configuration inside something here. Let's just bung it in a function. So export const. Let's do setup oAuth2. All right, and then and then paste that in, and then return. I know this isn't how you do it. I'm just trying to lay things out. So we're not returning that, are we? Let me think. What's the best way of doing this? It doesn't need to be like that, does it? I mean, you could import. Yeah, I could do an import the config, right? Import dot API config from now. This is going to be tricky because I don't know whether it's dot no. So we're here. We want to get out one, which would land us in services. We then want to come out of services, and then we also want to come out of SRC, which will leave us in here, I think. So dot, but I can't find it. It's not coming up on my. I think what I need to do, of course, is I need to set this as a variable, don't I? Yeah. So if we had a look at, say, the ghost configuration. Oh no, it's not a variable. I thought it would have been. It's not going to be that, is it? It's just going to be import API. No, is it? So that's Docker Compose. So we are at that point, right? We are here. It just can't find that dot API. So we are in the right place. Config dot JSON. And I think I need to. I've gone and totally forgotten how to do this. Import JSON into JavaScript. How to import a JSON file in here? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Import from config. In config, export it. Okay, gotcha. And then in there. So import config from there. Let's have a look at how that's. It hasn't given me an example of the actual config file. So in here we would do that's all require else. So you're not exporting it here. I guess the first thing I should do is let's come out of that. Let's just get rid of this for a minute. That's just rubbish. When we do login at this point, we should call upon that. So, but this we don't need because that's the old style of it. So yes, sorry, we do need to fiddle around with the setup, of course. Const setup, okay. So login is equal to. I was just wondering if there was any way of importing. Can I do that? Is that going to know what this is? No, it's not. Don't be silly. No, we're not talking Python here. So can I do let config dot, no, damn it. Let config, what I'm after, of course, is config dot. Can I do a dot? Yes, now we've got all the bits and pieces. Woohoo, that took far too long. That took far too long, and I'm sure there was people screaming at the screen. Jeez, I'm so sorry. Config dot. Client ID. Gosh. Okay, cool. And then this one here is client secret. This one here is the client. Oops, get rid of that. Dot auth URI. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we now have something here. Fix padded. My ESLint is going crazy. Okay, so we've got the setup. Let's do a let. Whoops, instead of a var. Right. Okay, so the next thing now is to then issue the login. In fact, I could just do it in one function, couldn't I? Although that's not really good practice. You got the setup and then you got login. I'm sure there'll be a logout. So we need to return. We need to return this, don't we? That's what we need to do. Okay. Inline that. There we go. So that's our setup sorted. So this login malarkey You get the username and you get the password. I also need to get hold of this. So if I went over to the login form, I need to get hold of this. And why I'm still calling it GitHub, I've got no idea. Let's go back to here. Let's tidy it up. It's not... oh no, I'm not. That's fine. I'm not. Okay, so login form. So that's that set up. Now it's this. So they've got the passed in the username and the password. I just want to paste this down here. So it's github.owner.getToken, right? So it's not a fetch. In fact, what I'm going to do, just to keep the peace, I'm going to copy that, paste that down in here, and do login old, just to please my IDE. So login, username, password. It's not a fetch. Not one bit. It's not a fetch. But it is... It is this. So what we should do is call upon that. Of course, if it was in a chain, of course, we would do this when we would do oAuth. So we do let oAuth is equal to that. Then we would do oAuth dot, and what was it? Owner.
Hello, coders.
Dot get token, passing in the username. Here we go, cooking on gas now. Password. And then it's a then, right? Let me just copy all this. Right. Now, how do we do this outside of... We don't need that, do we? Not really. Well, we do, obviously. But is there a better way I could do this? Thank you very much. Hey, hi. Is that a... I can't see. That is a V. HV Fear. Hello. Thank you very much for following. I appreciate it. What do we got? We got just under half an hour now. Right. All right. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Obviously, we need to deal with errors and other bits and pieces too. So let's tidy it. Let's fix that. Right. Let's remove this. Don't need that. Okay, so they hit login, they go to there, they pass in the username and the password. It then deals with that, which is up here, and then it gets the oAuth owner get token password. All right, so let's see if we can hook this into the current setup. Let's comment all of this code out because I know that this works. So we'll have that as a reference. So we're on here, create service for oAuth. And we're also dealing with that too. So if I was to uncomment this, we would then run handle login. That would go to this point here. This is going to fall apart because it's trying to get a environment variable, which doesn't work. We're then returning login. So that goes to here, which deals with the login. It's a bit decoupled. There's maybe too much. Maybe too much. If we go over to, I'm just trying to step through in my head. Then decode, we don't need any of this stuff. Decode the token, set user, no. Where is that? We don't need that. Bye-bye. Let me do the tidy up in a different commit, I think. All right, so we do the login. That handles the login. We don't do this. We don't do any of this. Setting of the credentials. So that's requiring a return, isn't it, of this stuff. Can I do this better? There must be a better way of doing this, surely. Then set user, catch errors, handle errors. This goes to login. Login is here. We obviously need to return the user. Oops. Right, let's just run it and see. I'm sure it will fall apart. Right, so refresh the page. Put in there, and it was test 1, 2, 3, 4. Login. Okay, here we go. So we have an internal server error. It doesn't look like it's spelt correctly, does it? Let's let's have. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Have I missed the N off of that? Oh God's sake! There we go. Sorry. Dearie me. Right. Refresh the page, and then do that all again. Test 1. Test 1, 2, 3. Is it 3, 4 maybe? Oh, okay. So we've got the token. So that worked. That went through the chain, and we've got the token back, which is good. Which is good. So it is falling through the right hoops at the right time, which is always good. Okay. So handle login, logs in, then gets the credentials, sets the user, which is up here. So this means that this return, I've lost my tabs. I've lost my tabbing. It means that this now should be in our local storage. So if we went to, I forget which tab it is. Is it sources? Sockets? Don't think it's that. Network. Is it an application? Local storage. Here we go. Local storage. Gatsby user is empty. So no, that didn't actually go through. Query on. Yeah, so that didn't actually make it. Why did that not make it to set user? Is it because credentials, which should be coming back from login, isn't passed correctly? Then, to be honest, I'm kind of thinking that. And I understand why I did it. I moved all of this out, I decoupled all of this, but I think that I could probably get away with I was tempted to copy that and put it over. No, let's not do that. Let's keep. I kind of get now why I split things out. I think there's a problem with the return. Console.log, because this is not. This is returning off of there, but of course it's just gonna. It needs to somehow return out of this function. How is that? How does that work? Unless I passed in this stuff as a callback. This set user. I guess what I'm trying to achieve here is that you have an auth.js and auth.api. The API should just be concerned with making an API call. It shouldn't be concerned with local storage. It should just be concerned with making the API call. The auth.js is the thing that pushes bits and pieces around. Let me just have a look at the history in a minute. I want to see the one where I deleted the old. I want to take a look at the old function. Login. Nope. Where did I put it? I guess one of the early ones will have it, right? There we go. This here. So, login method, then response is the JSON response. So I need to do something like this. Somehow. Let's just copy that. So we set it up, we then get that back. If this was in its own little because this isn't going to work at all. I want something like that, where I can pass in but that's not going to work. That isn't going to work. Sorry, front end Nexus. Sorry, I've been busy breaking things. You've asked the difference between let and var. Yes. So let me think. So let is it's about scoping. So let is the current scope, the scope within the function, whereas var is global scope. Which means that you can you can, with var, you can reassign the variable. So it's safer to do it with let. You've also got const, of course, which is a constant. Once it's set, you can't change it. I will be doing a video on this, a YouTube video on all of these things, maybe soon. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I could do. Here, I could do the setting of the user, right? So at this point, I could do set user, blah, 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 but then that means that I'm taking the responsibility of that away from the auth. And it's now in the... So I guess I could do a callback. I could put callback in here and then do a .then working on the callback. So I could do that. If that was callback here, call back, we could do a then. That will get the return the user. So you would do user is equal to just trying to find a whoops. And then here you would do callback. Boom, passing in the user, right? So you could, I kind of could play around with that a little bit. Always missing those brackets. Thank you, my IDE. Which means then what I do is callback. I pass in on login form. Not here, sorry. In auth.js, we pass in that callback, which would be setting of the user, set user. So handle login gets the username and password. It runs login. That's the auth. That's the API call. And then the callback is set user, which is here, which does the local storage. We could do that, I think. Let's see if I can get that running. What we got? 15 minutes. Okay, so we've got the ID here, but we've got a problem. Uncaught in promise, type error, converting circular structure to JSON. Doesn't sound good, does it? Starting at object with constructor client oAuth2, property code, object with constructor code flow. I wonder if this is because it's done the... I wonder if this is because... Finished. This is now jumped through the hoops. And we're now into the land of here. So let's not worry about that too much. Let's just do console is logged in. And yeah, obviously sort those out. Let's just see if there is anything in my local storage. No. No, okay. Same error. Okay. Uncaught in promise. Converting circular structure to JSON. Starting at object with constructor client oAuth2. Yes, that's correct. Return client oAuth2. Setup oAuth. Login. Is it because I shouldn't be putting that in here? Maybe I need to do const. Yeah, I do, don't I? Definitely. Silly me. There we go. Right, and then what are you complaining about? Oh gosh. Anything else you want to complain about? Yeah, all right, fine. These tabbings. Good. Okay, so we've got a const here, client oAuth2, and then here we do the setup off of that. It does look a little tidier. Update the JSON doc on that as well. All right. So let's refresh. I do like the these tunes. Okay, still an issue here. Client oAuth2. Property code. I don't really understand what that means. Starting at object with constructor client oAuth2. That's correct, yeah. Property code, object with constructor code flow. I'm not sure what that is. JSON stringify set user. Aha, okay. Then it's... So this is where the error is at. Uncaught in promise, converting circular structure to JSON. Right, this sounds a little bit like... Yeah, I don't think this is correct. As in, this is an object, not JSON. As in, like, I'm trying to stringify this and it's not working. I think that's probably the issue. I really want to get the data, isn't it? That's what I'm after, because I need data and then the access token. So, and I can probably stringify that. So that gets the user back and then call back. So can I do, it's not technically a user, is it? It's more of a access. Let's just call it response, right? That's quite a generic word for what it is. I could, if I wanted to, just put the callback in there, I guess. Anyway, so that's response dot dot. Can I get the access token straight away from this? Can I? Yeah, I can. But let's just do data for now. Let's hit save. All right, let's refresh and see if there's anything, if that jolts it out. Let's do test 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of this, yay. Okay, that went through. Sweet. And in the application, do we have? Yes, we have the application. Blah 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 blah. I can't talk. We have the access token. Woohoo! And we've got 10 minutes left. Blimey. So last night I was on a lot of gin, and when I started this stream, I thought no, because I've got a bit of a hangover. I say a bit of a hangover. It's a mixture of a hangover and sunstroke, I think. Heat. So I was like, this is not going to happen. But we did it. We did it. If I went back to the things to do list, which is this thing, this is done. This is also done. This is also done. One thing that we haven't done is redirecting to the account page, which I think should be a case of doing that. Although that's checking if it is logged in. If get user, so okay, so I could use the truthy stuff on here, to be honest. User. So that's going to look for the user. That's going to look for credentials. That's going to look for credentials. Access token. I need to change all of this, because it's not in that structure anymore. It's in the structure which is in tabs here. So it's a completely different structure. But you know, I'm okay with not doing that on the stream. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. Right. So as mentioned, I have a Patreon account, and on that Patreon account, I have currently I've got 9, but there will be 12. 12 PHP tutorials that aren't available yet on YouTube. So if you fancy supporting what I do for as little as $2 a month, then you can get these tutorials. I'm going to put these out once a week on Monday. So you can get these tutorials now if you want. There's 9 currently. I've got 3 that I'm going to upload tonight. So that brings us up to 12, which is 3 months worth of content. So you'll also obviously get access to the Discord server, and the newsletter as well. Sorry, I'm not stringing words together. So we got 9 tutorials here. How to flip PHP array values and keys, how to count PHP array values, how to shuffle PHP arrays, how to create a PHP array range, how to check PHP variables, how to check that a PHP variable is an array, how to get keys from a PHP array, how to get the last key, how to get the first key, how to reverse a PHP array, and then we also have other pieces of content. I think we've got is it 14? I think I checked before the stream. I think we've got between 12 and 14 live streams that I'm yet to release because we have the YouTube channel, the live How to Code Well channel here, and this will have all of the live stream archives on. Now, the channel doesn't have a channel name yet because I don't have 100 subscribers. So if you could do me a solid and just subscribe, that would be amazing, because then I can change the name to be How to Code Well. How to Code Well Live. We do, of course, have the main How to Code Well channel as well, which is this one here. And we have recently come over 11,100 subscribers, which is awesome. So thank you ever so much if you've subscribed there. And also, before I go, I'll quickly mention that we have the podcast. Thank you very much, Front End Nexus. I do appreciate that. We have the podcast. So this is now up and running again with guests. So we had Matt Brunt on, which is he's Brunty on Twitter. He's a speaker. And we were talking about remote working with, during the lockdown. We're both remote workers. We're both remote devs, PHP devs. That was an interesting podcast. You can either watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it on the podcast players. And recently, something I haven't announced yet, but recently, it's so cool. This happened when I took 2 weeks off because unfortunately... we had a couple of family bereavements, so I took some weeks off, and whilst that all happened, we reached 50,000 downloads. We're on 55 now. It's nuts. So I want to celebrate that somehow. But crazy amount of people listening to that, which is so cool, and it's on the 3rd season at the moment. So I'm really chuffed. Okay, so I'm going to shoot off, and I'm going to put the barbecue on. I wish everybody a very happy rest of your Easter day. Eat an Easter egg for me, right? Because we don't have any. Do I hang around the Corgi Discord? Is this... no, I don't. But when you say Corgi, do you mean like dogs? A Corgi dog? Or is Corgi a YouTube channel that I'm not aware of? I tell you what, before I go, because you asked, and there is 3 minutes left, what I'll do is I'll bring this down here and I will have a look at the Instagram for Murphy in Instagram.com/adventures of Murphy Pup. I think that's the right spelling of adventures. Yes. Right, this is Murphy Pup. He's doing all right. That was taken yesterday. Let's see if I can play that. He's just running about. Not a care in the world. That was taken, I think that was yesterday too. That's Flick the cat. We've got 2 cats. We've got Flick and Pixel, and that's Murphy. Yeah, and that's our backyard, and this is the barbecue that I'm going to use very, very soon. Oh, it's a... no, I didn't know that. I didn't know that that at all. Come on, have a look. Cool. You couldn't just send me a whisper, I think they call it in Twitch, in the Twitch world, just so I have it with the link there. That would be great. Come and have a look at part. I am a member of the live coders. So I am a member there. It's a Live Coders team, which have been doing... Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, yeah, awesome. Awesome. Also, when I was saying that we were getting Murphy to be try and teach himself to, I can't use my words today, self-disciplined. That's what one of the tasks that we were asked to do by the puppy instructor, by our trainer, was to see if we can get our puppies to sit nicely whilst we spell his name out, and put treats around him. So all of this is doggy treats, and we managed to teach him some self-control on that. That was really good. Proper chuff with that. Anyway, and I guess what I should do is put this into the chat too. Where is the whisper button when you need it? Or what you could do is send me a direct message on Twitter at howtocodewell with the link. It's just the invite. That's all I'm after. The invite link. I can't Cool. Anyway, I need to shoot off now. It is now past, so I need to crack on. I'm gonna cook some meat. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next Tuesday morning. Take care, everybody. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Happy Easter.